Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to my video. So in this video, we're still going to talk about public speaking. So for some people, they still feel nervous in delivering public speaking in front of many people. And sometimes, most of them, they still only focus on the content or the topics that they are going to deliver. However, one thing that we need to consider is that public speaking is not only about the content or the topic, so it's also about the method in delivering them. So on how we can make sure to communicate the topics with them, that the message that we have could be delivered well and can be accepted well by the audience. That's why today we are going to talk about verbal and nonverbal communications, those two methods that we usually use in public speaking. First thing first, we are going to talk about verbal communication. What is actually verbal communication? So verbal communication is a communication by using sound and words to express ourselves. Or in other words, we can say that verbal communication is that anything that we say to communicate our ideas. There are several things that we need to know about verbal communication. Number one is volume. So volume is that, the way we produce our voice. So make sure that the volume that we have can be heard by all of the audience inside that room. So we should not shout, neither we whisper, right? So make sure that the voice that we produce, the volume that we have could be heard by all of the people inside the room. That's the great volume as a speaker. Number two is pitch. So pitch is that the intonation that we have. For example, when we would like to ask them questions, or we ask them to do something, or we say something that is really severe, so we need a pitch. For example, in the beginning of your speech, so you use questions to grab their attention by saying, "What do you have this morning for breakfast, sir?" Right? So we use that kind of question tone in asking the questions. Because if we say that like, "What do you have for breakfast?" It's like, it's only a statement and the audience will feel confused on whether they have to answer. Is it a question or is it a statement? They will feel confused, right? So that's why a pitch or the intonations in delivering a speech would be really necessary because it can, create the mood of the audience in listening to our speech. After having a great intonation, then we move to rate. What is actually rate? Rate is also a speed, right? So the level of speaking in terms of being fast or not. Sometimes when we feel nervous, we speak really fast or either really slow. Okay, that's why we need to pay attention to the rate that we have, whether we speak too fast, whether we speak too slow. So we can use many kind of method for this. For example, we can record our performance and then we can evaluate ourselves while doing a speech. Or second, we can ask our friends to remind us whether we speak too slow or fast. Okay, because when we speak too fast, sometimes people do not really understand what we say. Okay, so in the other hand, if we also speak really slow, people will also not really understand what kind of speech we are delivering. That's why a great rate, a good speed, would also determine the level of interest of the audience in listening to us while delivering a speech. Next is a pause. Pause between one word and another is actually okay because as a human being, sometimes we forgot to say something and it's normal things. However, make sure that pause should be in a correct order and we do not use so many pauses because if we stop frequently, then the audience will feel like, why is the speaker stopping? Like they will know that we forget something and they will know that we are lack of preparation. So be careful in having a pause. Vocal variety. In a speech, we rarely use that. Vocal variety is usually used when we deliver a storytelling. For example, we tell a story about tiger and deer. And then when we become tiger, we imitate the voice of tiger, become really scary, all right? In the other hand, when we become the deer, then we change our voice to be a really cute little one, right? Vocal variety. And then pronunciation, that will be related to articulation. Does anyone know the difference between pronunciation and articulation? Right, so they are actually related. So articulation is the process of producing the word, while pronunciation is the result. For example, when we would like to say the word three, if we can produce the sound th correctly, it means that we will have a great pronunciation for three. So articulation is like the process of the way we produce the sound, and pronunciation is like the result when we say three. So the failure in articulation will result to the failure in pronunciation. In the other hand, the success in articulation is also the success of pronunciation. That's why be careful in pronunciation, because different words that we pronounce can have different meaning. Okay, for example, like three and tree, right? And then we also have beach and beach. Something that is really common for students nowadays. Okay, so pronunciation and articulation are really related, so be careful about that. The last but not least is dialect. Don't be mistaken, all right? So no matter what dialect that you use, no matter what kind of accent that you use, is not a problem, okay? So do not have a feeling that one dialect or one accent is, more superior than the others. It's really a wrong thought, okay? So be proud of who we are. I mean, English nowadays is owned not only by the one who speaks English, but it also owned by so many people in the world. We can have like British accent, American accent, but we can also use Indonesian accent, Sundanese accent, Japanese accent, and many things. Just try to be proud of who you are. I mean, we don't have to imitate others. As long as we have the correct pronunciation and articulation, then no matter what dialect or accent that you use would be actually okay, right? So do not be too hard for yourself. Okay, I have to be using American or British. Well, no, it's not. Try to be proud of who you are by using your own style, as long as the pronunciation is correct. Okay. So we can see here from verbal communication. So in my own opinion, all right, all of these are important, but in verbal communication, your pitch and your pronunciation would be really necessary. Why? Because if we have a great pitch or intonation in a correct pronunciation as well, people will directly get the message that we have, whether we are in angry condition, or we are sad, or we are happy. With a pitch that is perfect for them, they can also feel what we feel. As well as the pronunciations, the word that we deliver, and they can really get the point, that will be really necessary for them. Okay, so that's why all of them are important, but really pay attention on your pitch and pronunciation. Okay, now let's move to nonverbal communication. So you have learned that verbal communication is the use of sound and words to express ourselves as a speaker, while nonverbal is like the communications without words and sounds. It's more like our movement, our body language to deliver the content, so that without saying a word, the audience can feel what we feel. The audience can know what we mean to them, right? That is called nonverbal communication. And that is also really important. Okay, so let's discuss one by one. What do we have in nonverbal communication? Number one, can you guess what is this? Yeah, so this is a personal appearance. Okay, so don't be mistaken again. So personal appearance doesn't mean that we have to be able to wear a very expensive cloth or attire. No. So personal appearance is that on how we can, adjust our appearance to the event that we have. When we deliver a speech in front of the dean or the rector, for example, in university, of course that we need to wear a very formal cloth. But when we deliver a speech, when the setting is on a beach, for example, then of course, yeah, we can use our, like swimsuit or anything. All right. So personal appearance is like on how we can make sure that the clothes we are wearing at that occasion is appropriate enough. All right. Number two, what is this? Can you guess what this is? So this is movement. Okay. So we need to know whether we are going to deliver a speech on the podium or we can just move everywhere, because movement can also be refreshing for the audience. All right. So they by looking at the speaker moving, all right, they will not feel bored because we try to be closer to them, right? By greeting them, that will be really beneficial for us as a speaker. Next, gesture. Okay, our gesture is like on how we can use our hand movement. Okay, we can move our shoulder. For example, we have a lot of audience, and then we can move right there, looking at the audience on the left side or on the right side, and many things. Yeah, that is called gesture. And then if we do not use the gesture, we only just keep silent like this, and then we did not move at all. We just look like a mannequin. Okay, and that is really awkward, right? That's why the use of gesture, by moving your hand, okay, moving your head, looking at your audience would be really necessary. Next is the eye contact. Okay, eye contact is the most essential part for nonverbal communication. Why? Because in doing a public speaking, we speak to people, we talk to our audience. And the rule when talking to people is that we look into their eyes. I mean, it doesn't mean that we look like them one by one like this, of course not, because that would be so scary. All right. But make sure that we consider they are here at that time by looking at them. So we can just look at someone and then hold for 1 or 2 seconds and then look into somebody else. Okay. Because when we look at them and they feel engaged, they feel that we pay attention to them, they will pay attention back to us. Because if they do not pay attention to us, like they play their own cell phone, for example, or they talk to their friends, we need to ask ourselves, do I give enough attention to them? Why didn't they get, why didn't they pay attention to us or to me as a speaker? So we need to ask ourselves. That's why by giving them attention, one of those is by looking at them, by having the eye contact, I believe that they will also pay attention. Because yeah, it's like take and give. You give them attention and they will give attention back to us. All right. So if we relate them to the verbal communication, then a great intonation and pronunciation, and then it is united with eye contact, it will create a perfect speaker. All right, because you have a great intonation, and then you look at the one while you are talking, while you are speaking to them. It's like a really powerful weapon in doing public speaking. All right, I guarantee if you have a great pronunciation, intonation, and also eye contact, no one will not listening at you. Okay, no one will not listening to your speech. They will be so happy to listen to your speech. That's why pay attention to that. All right, I know it's not easy. I mean, sometimes we look at the ceiling, we look at the paper, we look at the floor, right? But try to decrease that, because look at your audience. They are there. They are in front of you. That's why pay attention to them. Okay, let's change our mindset. Sometimes when audience look at us, we feel like shy. Sometimes we say, "Why do you look at me? Try to look at somebody else." Well, actually, it's wrong. Change the mindset that if they look at us, it means that they are interested in us. Okay, they are interested in the topic that we have. That's why we should be happy if they look at us. How? First, by looking at them back and have a great intonation, great pronunciation, and then they will feel really happy to be there listening to our speech. Okay, finally, it's the filler. Okay, filler. You know what filler is? So filler is like, if we try to relate to verbal communication, it's like the pause that we have. Sometimes when we forget the word, okay, we use filler. There are 3 kinds of filler: filler sound, filler words, and filler phrase. Filler sound is like when you say, today I'm going to talk about, that is filler sound. Number 2 is filler word. Well, you say, well, okay, basically. So it's like filler. When you say, today I'm going to talk about, well, yeah, that's filler, because you try to remember something, and then instead of keeping silent, you use filler. It's okay. Number 3 is filler phrase. Well, you say, and then you say, which is, and then you say, got it. Yeah, that's filler. When you say, I'm going to talk about, the topic that is very, yeah, something like that. It's okay. Okay. Try to avoid using Indonesian filler, because, yeah, we are as Indonesians, sometimes use Indonesian filler. For example, my first topic is, apa itu? Something like that. Try to avoid that. Instead of using Indonesian filler, try to change that filler into English, right? And using fillers is okay, but do not use that too much. For example, in one statement, you use filler, like all 3 fillers that you use. Today, I'm going to talk about, well, basically, really, it's like, what are you going to talk about? That is so annoying and so much time wasting. All right. So try to use the filler in a, correct order. Do not use so many fillers during our speech. But actually, it's okay to use filler once or twice or occasionally. All right. Okay. So these are verbal and nonverbal communication. So after watching this video, please try to give your comments if you still have any question regarding verbal and nonverbal communication. Because once again, it's not only about the topic. Topic is important, yes. I mean, we speak in front of many people. I mean, we need to have a great topic or great content. However, if we fail to deliver the content just because we do not have a great verbal and nonverbal communication, like we speak too slow, or we don't have eye contact, we are just busy to ourselves. We did not have a great pronunciation or intonation. No one will listen to us, all right? They will stop listening to us and just leave directly. So please, you can share your experience. Just try to type your comments and ask me anything. I will be so happy to answer your questions and try to help you. Share your experience here. See ya in the next video. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Patria Handung Jaya. See ya.